For my capstone action research project, I chose the area of the impact of small group instruction on NWA math growth. The topic and problem involves upper elementary school, many teachers not using small group instruction and relying on traditional methods that involve whole group instruction. In the math classes in the study, students spent 83% of their time in whole group instruction or seat work, and most of the activities involved either workbooks or no additional materials at all. During whole group instruction, often teachers are speaking to the students, soliciting answers from one or a few students, with the majority of students acting as passive participants. This continuous pattern is seen in many classrooms throughout schools in America, where the teacher assigns a problem, then solves it step by step. One student in a class is questioned, and this was carried over into the school I work in as well. As a result, the action research project included 4 fourth grade teachers across 3 classrooms receiving professional development in the areas of small group instruction, differentiated instruction, and learning centers. Teachers then utilized the gained knowledge to impact their instruction to ultimately impact student achievement on NWA measures of academic progress in mathematics. So there was a mixed method action research approach used to collect data for the study. A quantitative approach was used to assess the impact of small group direct instruction on student achievement, as I was most interested in whether NWA measures of academic progress, RAS unit, or the RIT score increase after students received instruction using this pedagogy. The overall mean was analyzed for the pre-assessment period, which was the testing cycle from the fall to the winter, and then the post-assessment from winter to spring. As teachers participated in the professional development workshops, a quantitative and qualitative approach was used to determine whether their knowledge was affected. Teachers completed a survey about their knowledge of small group instruction, and the survey contained quantitative Likert and multiple choice questions, as well as qualitative open-ended questions. A survey was also conducted at the end of the workshops, and with the same Likert and multiple choice questions and qualitative open-ended questions, seeing how much growth or the professional development workshops impacted their knowledge. In collecting the data, quantitative research design aligned with the first research question, which was, how does implementing small group instruction affect student achievement scores on the NWA math assessment? The research provided quantitative data comparing the overall mean scores of the 2 testing cycles using the same set of students across 3 classes. These numerical findings showed the impact of small group instruction on NWA math growth. For the second research question, which was, how does participation in professional development impact teacher knowledge of small group instruction, a mixed method research approach was used, combining qualitative and quantitative data. Once again, teachers were surveyed about their knowledge of small group instruction, and the survey contained quantitative Likert and multiple choice questions, as well as qualitative open-ended questions. So for the data collection, the data analysis technique used for each set was descriptive statistics to compare means. The students from each of the 3 fourth grade classrooms were identified in a table, each named A1 through A20 and B1 through 20, C1 through C20. And the students' individual NWA growth scores from the pre-data set and the post-data set were displayed in columns. Then the increase or decrease was determined. As far as impacting teacher knowledge of small group instruction, we analyzed quantitative data. Descriptive statistics were used to conduct a comparison of means. They were calculated for each Likert scale and multiple choice question in the pre and post surveys. The results were compared to assess the impact of teacher knowledge. The open error responses required the process of consolidating, reducing, and interpreting the data, which is referred to as coding and categorization, according to Murray. Open-ended qualitative responses in the surveys were grouped by whether they were completed before or after professional development. the qualitative techniques used, including a thematic analysis with coding into common themes and categories. Each open-ended response was coded and analyzed for specific words. The results for the impact of small group instruction on student achievement on NWA math assessment showed that implementing small group instruction had a very positive impact. Overall, there was a 267.7 increase in growth achievement from the fall to winter testing cycles and the winter to spring testing cycle. The observed mean growth from fall to winter was 5 1/10 RIP points compared to 13 6/10 from winter to spring. This held across all subgroups, including gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, English language learners, and special education students. And continuing with the second research question of how does participating in professional development impact teacher knowledge of small group instruction, teachers had their knowledge impacted significantly before the professional development on small group instructions. Teachers involved in the study identified 5 benefits of using this strategy, with only 2 of those identified by 3 of the 4 teachers. Then after participating in that professional development on small group instruction, teachers identified 9 benefits, with 8 of those 9 benefits being identified by at least 75% of the teachers. And teachers stated that the frequency of small group instruction in their rooms increased from a mean of 2.25 to 4, from rarely to often. Before participating in the professional development on differential instructions, teachers involved in the study identified 3 benefits of this instructional strategy, with only 2 of the 3 identified by 3 or more teachers. After participating in the professional development on differentiated instruction, teachers identified 5 benefits, all of which were reported by all participating teachers in the study. As a result, teachers stated that the frequency of differentiation as an instructional strategy increased from 2 5/10 to 4 75/100, or from rarely to almost always. And lastly, before participating in professional development on learning centers, teachers identified 3 benefits of learning centers, with 75% of the teachers identifying those 3 benefits. This compares with the knowledge before professional development, as 75% of teachers identified 5 benefits of learning centers. As a result, teachers stated that the frequency with which learning centers were utilized increased from 1.25 to 3.5, from rarely to sometimes to often. So some of the conclusions are teachers receiving professional development in the areas of small group instruction, differentiation, and learning centers showed a strong correlation with increased knowledge in utilizing small group instruction. The instructional strategy that allowed students who typically struggled in math to have multiple opportunities with scaffolded support, explanations, and individualized instruction to obtain the correct answers is supported by the 267 7/10 mean growth across all students in the study between the 2 testing cycles. Additionally, regardless of student subgroup, all students achieved higher levels of mathematical achievement on the spring NWEA assessment and their growth from winter to spring as compared to fall to winter when working with this modified instructional materials in practice. After receiving professional development, 75% of the teachers in this study stated that giving more students attention and being more available provided students with the opportunity to engage in individual dialogue with students that did not occur during whole group instruction. There were some limitations to this study. The overall sample size consisted of only 3 classes with a total of 56 students and 4 teachers. There were even smaller subgroups, including only 1 Asian student and 1 upper class student. There were 13 English as new language students and 7 students who received a component of special education services through their individualized educational plan or 504 plan. There's not much research in grade 4 or upper elementary school, for that matter, regarding small group math instruction, which limited my comparisons. And teacher feedback was limited to 4 teachers, providing minimal opportunities to classify and reclassify responses to survey questions. As far as implications and recommendations, this research study provides new insight into the impact of professional development on teacher knowledge and the impact of growth achievement scores on NWA map testing when small group instruction is utilized. The study highlights the growth that all student subgroups made between academic testing cycles, and its impact on teacher knowledge. Teachers who may not be achieving desirable results should consider receiving professional development in one of these areas and then apply that knowledge to improve the standardized testing scores. As far as future professional context, the study can be interpreted as a first step in research on the impact of professional development in small group instruction, differentiation, and learning centers on NWA MAP growth achievement. The results should be treated with caution due to the overall sample size and the size of some subgroups. Future research should consider a much larger sample size across multiple grade levels in multiple schools. There were several reference pages. Thank you for listening to my presentation.